The truth.
Hey, have you ever thought about like veganism?
I have, but the diet's too hard.
It's very strict. It's one of those discipline things. Me personally, I've been vegan for about going on 7 months now, and I can say for myself, like it's changed a lot for me. I feel like even away from the food, it's given me, I feel like, more discipline in my life, and so I know we do the Daniel fast every year for church, and we go basically vegan, but even more strict than vegan, because you can't have like certain types of bread, you can't have certain like
Flours and grains come into play too. So your diet is really restricted to really just fresh produce and the thinnest of marginal gap between.
Right, because it's really supposed to bring you closer to God by taking you away from the outside world. But anyway, so like, as far as that, like, how do you feel about veganism, B-Ray?
I'm trying to dive into it. I haven't fully committed, but I understand the benefits of it and just trying to clear and refresh your insides for
sure,
get healthy.
I know for me, like I said, I could feel the change within my body, and so before I went going vegan, I would really be using the bathroom like 8-10 times a day. Number twos.
I feel like you're more connected with nature if you go on that vegan path.
For sure. So like for me, like number twos 8 to 10 times a day. Like that's a lot. That's not normal, because I was so lactose intolerant. And I know growing up in an African American household,
It's essential.
We eat a lot of dairy. We consume a lot of dairy.
Yogurts, heavy creams, cheeses.
The cheeses is the number one. The butter, all of it. And so like I got some facts for y'all today. I'm not even coming just from personal experience. I got some facts for y'all today. So off rip, I'm just gonna be a big bean with y'all. Cow milk is for baby cows. It's for baby cows. Our bodies aren't meant to break that down.
Some baby calves.
Baby calves, and I'm not no calf. So 73% of African Americans are lactose intolerant, 95% of Asians, and 50% of Native Americans.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, because our bodies aren't supposed to consume that. So,
and the remaining percent are the adaptations.
Facts.
Mutations.
The mutations, yeah.
Facts. And
they
so,
got immune to it kind of thing.
If you think about it, it's just cow pus. Milk in itself is just cow pus. And so,
most people, I don't think about milk like that at all.
So I got another fact for you. Milk is allowed to be sold with 750,000 pus cells per cc. Just let that sink in, Nightcast family.
No, that's foul.
They're legal.
That don't make me feel too good.
Legally allowed to sell you a certain amount of pus, because too much pus is not good. But if just a certain amount, I don't know if you guys ever seen the episode of Bob Burgers when he falls into the butter, and they say, "Well, he's only contaminated about 12% of the butter, so we're good to eat it."
We're going to have to pull the scene up.
We'll have to pull the scene up.
I have finished my butter analysis. Bob's skin flakes, arm hair, and fingernail dirt are all present. Let me finish. They're present, but not at threatening levels. The butter is grade C to D-, fit for everyone except babies and people with compromised immune systems. In other words, get your bib on.
And so if you think about it as pus, cheese is just coagulated cow pus.
And do you think like the chemicals that they put into, help coagulate the cheese together, make the curds, taste it, like help any of that? Or
so the thing is with a lot of cheese, for example, cheese is already high in salt, like it's a high sodium, and then they add more salt to it.
Oh wow.
And so like it gives it. That's why like when I stopped eating cheese, like I'm like, man, bro, none of this has no salt at all. And I feel like that has been like a downside, because like I use more salt, but like I also don't use any cheese.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah. And so I know like when I got sick, you remember when I had pancreatitis, if you guys didn't know, at around 15 years old. And when I went to the doctors, they always say like man, like we don't know how you got it. Like we don't know how you got it.
you know how it feels going to the hospital and like the doctors being like, you don't know. It's like, wait a second, you don't know. I came to you for help, and they're like, I'm not sure how this happened. It could be possible, a whole bunch of things. It's like, I could have made a hypothesis.
Exactly. And they're like, well, do you drink alcohol? I'm like, no,
I'm 15.
and like at our time, 15, like we wasn't doing that like that. 15-year-olds now,
active 15s. Yeah.
15 now is different. It's different.
Some of y'all active.
But when I was 15, I never touched alcohol. So like, if you guys don't know, pancreatitis is like literally alcoholics in their 50s get it. And so I took that upon myself to like research more about it. And so there's a link between dairy and deficiencies in the pancreas. So it says that a high intake of dairy at a younger age causes problems in the pancreas and is linked to type 1 diabetes. I don't have type 1 diabetes, but what I have and like the stuff that my body is able to break down, it's very similar to type 1 diabetes. And it's crazy to think of because, like, as a kid, we consume so much of dairy. So much.
That's like most. I've got milk.
Got milk.
They force it onto you as a kid. It's like if you don't have a yogurt, cup or a whole carton of milk with cheese on something, you didn't have a full lunch.
You didn't have a full meal. And to go off of that, so like, who do you think makes those charts? Like, got milk and remember those charts that we used to have to like,
my plates
you need to have a balanced diet.
Plates,
like they'll have protein here, dairy here, carbs here, and stuff like that. Who do you think makes that? Who do you think funds that?
The elites.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
That
Pretty
have
close.
us in the system.
So it's called the Dietary Advisory Committee. And the people that sponsor that are Kellogg, McDonald's, Hershey, and Kraft.
Everything that's bad for you.
Everything that's bad for you. And to go off of that, so for example, cardiovascular disease is the #1 cause of death in America. Heart problems, heart disease. And so it's been linked that meat is the #1 reason for heart problems. Yet on the American Heart Association pages, they tell you, well, you can eat meat just
in moderation.
But meat's not good for you at all.
And that's not how it's publicized.
It's not how it's publicized at all.
You can get a chicken sandwich, just anything in the drive-thru whenever you want.
Facts. And it's supposed to be just because it's grilled, it's better for you.
No.
It's not. So, for example, American Heart Association. You guys want to hear what sponsors are?
No, I'm nervous, but go ahead.
So you got Nebraska Beef Council, Colorado Beef Council, Texas Beef Council, South Dakota Beef Council, Kentucky Beef Council. Now, this is where it's going to shock you. Subway, Domino's, Farmland, Cargill, Tyson Chicken Nuggets, Kraft, Kellogg's, General Mills, Purdue Meats, and Nestle.
Everything that we basically consume.
Everything that we consume. And these companies are putting money into the Heart Association, but they're the reason why the Heart Association exists.
And isn't Tyson sponsoring McDonald's also with their chicken nuggets? Like Tyson sponsors McDonald's for the chicken nuggets. Gosh, look that up.
Keep your notes. I got you.
G looks.
Oh yeah.
So also, like diabetes. Diabetes is linked, like I said earlier, to dairy, correct?
Correct.
And so listen to who sponsors the American Diabetes Association. Dannon, which is the yogurt, which is dairy, Kraft, Velveeta, Oscar Mayer, and Lunchables.
If you're not eating one of them,
you're eating one of those.
Like,
you're eating one of those.
Or you're feeding your kids one of those.
Or you're feeding your kids one of those.
If you're young.
You're
still eating some of those. Like
$2.5 billion contract. Tyson with McDonald's.
And McDonald's is sponsoring the people that make your food plates. Make what you're supposed to be eating.
Sound like a loop. It's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
Sounds like mass control.
And so, like, so now that you guys know that, like, that's bad. Now that you guys know that you should probably, not that it's bad, but be conscious. So you guys know what a carcinogen is?
The things that cause cancer, correct?
It is the things that cause cancer. So what would you think would be a carcinogen?
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes are carcinogen. Group 1 carcinogen.
Vapes.
Probably also. Probably also.
More information coming out soon.
Coming soon. But you know what else is also class or group 1 carcinogen?
What?
Processed meats. So you have ham, bacon. I know everybody love bacon.
Yeah.
Everybody,
even the
vegans
vegans love bacon.
Though.
It's good. It's good.
Even the vegans like bacon.
Salami and frankfurts. And so group 1 means that there's a strong evidence that these meats produce cancer.
What do you think is inside of the fast food?
I don't want to think about it.
I don't think
Like
we'll ever know.
isn't Taco Bell grade F?
Grade F.
And we still eat it.
And we still eat it. So speaking of grade F, because they have grade F beef, group 2 carcinogens, which means they will probably give you cancer. Probably. And I know I feel like we're all worried about your phone gives you cancer. Your phone gives you cancer.
Oh yeah, that 5G is no joke.
That 5G is no joke. But also, they have you distracted like an illusion, like magicians. They have you focused on this. Oh, 5G is giving you this. 5G is giving you this. But what they're not talking about is the food that they're giving you. Yeah. So red meat, beef, lamb, and pork are all grade 2 or group 2 carcinogens.
It's crazy because when you're saying all this stuff, it's like
I've
ate this my whole life.
Like my doctors recommend saying, "Oh, your iron's low. You eat more red meat.
Eat more fish.
So
fish is just as bad."
What do you think about fish? I was just gonna say that.
No, see, I can't do the vegan diet, but pescatarianism, I could do. I like veggies in the first place. But
isn't salmon good for you? That's
so. This is the problem. I also watched this document, or it was a podcast between. I think it might have been Dana White or Joe Rogan. He was like. They're like, yeah, bro, the vegan life is not it.
I like Joe Rogan podcast.
The GOAT.
And so but it might have, because it wasn't in the Joe Rogan podcast, but I forget. Anyways, he was like, well, you just have to get the meat that's not processed. But the problem is all meat, unless you're growing it on your own farm.
Yeah.
Unless you're raising these cattle, it's all processed. It doesn't matter if you get the hormone free.
It's sprayed down.
It's got to ship.
Yeah.
It's got to ship. It's still mass produced.
People forget that when you're transporting raw meats and even fresh produce across the country, across the world, they got to be sprayed down with insecticides.
Even
they got to be
plants.
sprayed down with everything to make sure they're transportable, because it's coming on a boat, plane, train, or automobile.
Facts.
And it's got to sit in there for however long, and it's got to maintain. So if you think that everything that you're getting from your grocery store is fresh, unless it's farm raised, and even still, if you ain't seen it on that farm, I don't know.
So speaking of that, so like we said, farms. When I think of farms, I think of chickens and eggs, right?
Sadly,
eggs. They're supposed to be super good for you. It's supposed to be
a staple breakfast item.
Breakfast. You think of eggs and bacon, eggs and pancakes, eggs and hash browns,
bacon, egg, and cheese.
Bacon, egg, and cheese. No Bev.
And if you want to get healthy, add the egg whites.
If you're healthy, egg whites. So I have here that the USDA cannot legally label eggs as safe, healthy, low fat, with a balanced diet, nutritious, good for you, or low calorie.
That's crazy because
have you ever seen it on a milk cart or on a carton of eggs?
I'm thinking right now, and it's you see fresh,
grade A,
you get a grade, but even still, it's if grade A is just enough, if grade A can't even pass that list, and the things that you just stated, that's still a passing grade.
Passing.
Or that can't be enough. The FDA just, it's good enough.
It's good enough. And so, I also saw that 1 egg a day, it is equivalent to 5 cigarettes. And now that you know that eggs are considered a carcinogen.
And you know how we feel about carcinogens and cancer sticks.
You know how we feel about it. It's the same thing at this point.
If you knew that something was giving you cancer, I'm asking both of you guys this. It's not rhetorical. If you guys knew that something was giving you cancer, would you continue to do it even if it made you a little bit bloated in the morning and sent you to the bathroom, but your parents always made it for you growing up?
Me now, knowing that I switched, no.
Knowing this, no.
Even me, it's I feel like I'd be a fool.
You'd be a fool. So like you know that it caused cancer. So the American Cancer Society, guess who funds them?
Got to be the same people making money from all the people sending them to the hard places.
Tyson, Pizza Hut, KFC, and your personal favorite grade F beef provider, Taco Bell.
T-Bell.
The Midnight Munchies.
The Midnight Munchies are no more.
No more.
No more. But there's one person that's been hip to the game for a long time. RIP to GOAT.
Dr.
Sevi. Dr. Sevi. He cured cancer. He cured STDs. He cured diabetes. He cured kidney disease. And he cured a whole bunch more.
Can I just give my man a round of applause?
Round of applause. Round of applause. RIP to the GOAT.
RIP.
And so, also, RIP to that boy
Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Hussle was coming out with a documentary about Dr. Sebi.
It was gonna be good.
Had to be.
It was gonna be finishing what he wanted to finish.
Finishing his legacy that he started. And, you know, police reports will say that one of his own homies from the way back ended up shooting him. And it's like, if this man had this many opportunities to kill him, why would he wait until after he had done so much for the community and done so much for the people around him?
Facts.
Knowing it to get out faster.
Knowing to get out. So, and I feel like this is the reason why. So, in 1987, they took him to trial. They took him to trial because he didn't have a medical license.
But he was curing all these diseases.
Saying he cured all these people.
And that kind of like, just because he doesn't have his medical license, who's to say that it's not right? Just like if someone doesn't have a degree from college, that doesn't signify that a person without a degree is just as bright.
Facts. But the difference is he's not backed by these big corporations.
Western medicine, and
you can't go against the big farm.
You can't go against the pharmaceuticals. You cannot. And so they literally took him to trial. They took him to trial. Before he went to trial, there was 2,781 cases that came before him and lost. He was the case. His case was that won the one. He won that. He won his case. So he was now able. He was that man. He was now able to say that he cured cancer. They asked him to bring 9 patients that he had so-called quote unquote cured, and that man brought over 100.
That's a mic drop.
That boy not playing. He said, "I got
you." Not playing. And I just think it's insane that like literally he can say, "Look, listen, I cured cancer. Like these are my testimonies. These are the people that have said like, nah, you're not that guy, pal, because you didn't get that degree from us. So it can't be legit. You're taking facts. You're taking money from the pharmaceuticals. Why would people come to us if they know they can not have to take these pills for the rest of their lives or just change their diet?
Because it doesn't make profit.
It doesn't make profit.
I cure you.
Them coming back.
I don't prolong it.
Facts.
That's what Western medicine does. I don't need you to be healed. I just need you to be good enough to where in the next 5 years you have to come back a couple more times because though it didn't go away, the pain was more mild, more suitable.
Like the end of a TV show. The cliffhanger.
Leave you on the cliffhanger.
Gotta have you come back.
You gotta come back.
That favorite anime that you love so much, that final season, quote unquote, get left in the middle of the story with a crazy cliffhanger.
Attack on Titan is supposed to come out with one last season.
Sword Art Online, waiting.
We're waiting.
We're waiting. But yeah, that's what I had to drop for the Nightcast fam tonight.
Yes, sir. Round of applause for B.
Thank you.
Doing his research.
Thank you.
Check the description below for all the sources or most of the sources.
Always do your own research.
Do your own research. If you're looking for more information, we got you. We're going to spread some too. But speaking about spreading information, my research that I was doing kind of goes in tune with that last part of what you were talking about with Dr. Sebi and how the public or society will quiet the people who are doing good and lessen what they're doing because it's not making money. It's not good for big corporation. And when I was doing some research about predictive programming, it's almost like the same thing to where they want you to be desensitized to these things, that people can die at any moment, at any time, just because, you know, that's the world we live in. And yes, that's true. But if you see it every single day, you're not going to be as, oh my goodness, why did you just kill that person for doing no harm at all?
Facts.
It's like we've grown accustomed to this. This is the world that we see every single day. It's on the news. They want you to see it. They want you to hear it. And when you know that the news channels and stations are being paid off and that whoever's giving the most money is the audience they're talking to, you've seen the last election.
Even for like police brutality. Now I've seen so much police brutality. It's like, man, there's another one gone, and it shouldn't be that way
every time. And that's what the world does. That's what social media does. And there's a theory about this that the government or higher ups are using fictional movies and books as a mass mind control to make the population more accepting of planned future events. And we've seen it throughout The Simpsons. We've seen it throughout any dystopian sci-fi movie that we've watched.
Facts.
I'm talking any Hunger Games, Star Wars, Maze Runner.
Fast and Furious.
Even the Fast and Furious series. But we're going to talk about that later. But it's the idea that they're forcing people to, not even forcing, but what you're constantly seeing is being taken into your unconscious mind. And you're subconsciously remembering all these things that you're seeing on these TV channels and TV shows that are always on. And it's constantly programming you to be less or more accustomed to it, I should say. So there's some research done at the Ohio State University. Shout out OU.
Shout out OU. OH.
I-O. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the other research, pretty much it's a subtle form of psychological conditioning provided by the media to acquaint the public with a planned societal change to be implemented by our leaders. If and when these changes are put through, the public will already be familiarized with them and they will accept them as a natural progression, thus lessening people's public resistance and commotion. And it's like the media will say the people who believe in these theories are, theorists who believe in
totalitarianism.
That's a tough word.
Hey, if you know how to say that, bro, let us know.
Let me know. A
totalitarianism.
Yeah, there it is. We'll say that for now. Say that for now.
And this is whatever. But the people who think the government will be completely taken over, or the government will completely take over their everyday lives, and that they'll control every bits and parts of the media, everything that you see, everything that you eat. And after hearing what you just said, it kind of sounds like they do. And, I'm not trying to spread no panic or anything.
Definitely not. That's not the goal.
That's not the goal. I'm here just to educate and inform and to let you guys know to do some more information, do some more research, because that's what you should do. Because if you believed everything you heard on the internet,
you would be a fool.
You would be a fool.
You'd be a fool.
So the idea that the government is placing these things to desensitize us, to make us more accustomed to these, crazy events and crazy accidents, or, talking about accidents, there's a building that collapsed in Miami, and I know Brayden was talking about this a while ago. You want to?
So basically what happened is the buildings don't collapse like that.
But it was an accident.
It was an accident, and a guy named John McAfee, I'm not sure who he is. I haven't done that much research, but I know that he came out with a tweet and he said, if anything bad happens to me, just know there's 31 terabytes of hard drive of information under this building. And apparently the building goes down that day after the tweet goes out.
Bottom first, like as it just collapsed down to do the least amount of damage to the surrounding buildings, but
kind of like a main event we know of. How it's an inside job,
but
in it
you see places in lesser run countries or even like a second or third world country where they're doing huge demolitions throughout the cities because they're trying to make more space for the large population, and they're blowing up these buildings and like these.
It's like it's professionally taken down.
It's planned because there's no other way to take it down without completely destroying the area around it because there's such huge buildings.
Facts.
AKA inside job.
And that's what that's what they call these theorists. They're like these theorists, the people
conspiracists.
These conspiracists.
These conspiracists.
That's what they call them. They're like you're so afraid that everything is being controlled and that
like you get stuck in the rabbit hole.
Yeah, like you're already in the trap. And I think that there is a moderation to this because if you believe every conspiracy theorist,
you'd be like Illuminati, third eye opened, woke.
We should have a talk about being woke too, because I feel like that's got to do with a lot of pop culture and what's being, what's trending, and that's what we call us, and we don't even realize it, but we allow the higher ups or the younger, not even the younger generation, but we all see on our Twitter feeds, our TikTok feeds, how everything trends, whether we want it to or not. It feels like it just happens. Like you see a video trending that you've never even seen before, and it's like, who in the world is watching this, bro?
Because it's controlled. And that goes into Operation Mockingbird, kind of.
Let us know, B-Ray.
Enlighten us.
I'm going to have to I'm going to read it, but basically Operation Mockingbird is a alleged large-scale program of the United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, that began in the early years of the Cold War and attempted to manipulate the news media for propaganda purposes.
Sounds like some stuff going on today.
And we know how that plays out.
Facts.
It still goes on today.
I mean, news outlets get paid moolah to perpetrate what's actually.
I think it's crazy that in a time of most confusion where there was a distinct two sides of, the United States, yet again, everybody could come to the conclusion that this some fake news.
Some BS.
some BS. Some fake news being perpetrated by both sides. It's like,
where did you get that from?
So that I was there that day. That's not what happened. I said, no. It was this bad. Or
when you went to that rally.
They'll incite panic and cause these things. And like, you think it's so weird that in the middle of the day that there would be a pile of bricks outside right next to a storefront. And it's like, but who put these here? Like, we planned this an hour ago. And
somebody moved 2 tons of bricks on every street corner.
And as soon as like the text will go out, you'll see that people start leaving bricks out places, or there'll just be like some angry protester already there. And it's like, so you're already here to incite these damages. Like,
facts.
False advertising for the other people. And I feel like we see that all the time nowadays. And people grow biased to one person's actions, and they'll, associate everybody with one thing, or because it's what you see on the media. If I was to tell you, hey, eat more red meat, eat more red meat, eat more red meat, it's good for you, I promise. And I have a degree that says I'm legally allowed to tell you that, I would believe that shit too.
We believe everything a scientist says.
Or a doctor or a teacher. But sometimes, it's like the thing you do with everything. You got to sift through it.
Right.
And pick and choose what you want to hear.
Because there's good teachers.
Because the fact that
there's
even
bad teachers.
like even some doctors say like, oh, this is it, and then other doctors be like, nah, that's why they do studies, and that's why they.
And we appreciate that, like, but at the same time, for somebody who is ill-informed, or my thing about Western medicine is when I go to the doctors and I'm not sure, and they look at me like, well, yeah, like, it's this, and this, and it's like, okay, but I don't understand what that means. I am not a doctor. I have not studied for 12 years into this field. Like, how does that pertain to me?
Yeah.
And like the feeling of being ignorant and in a situation to where it's my health, I got to take it serious because
it's yours.
My body is my temple. I'm with this body until I go.
And if you treat it like a 7-Eleven gas station, it will show.
It will show. So knowing that, it's like, I want to take the best steps to further my health too. But if you're telling me all this information that's contradicting, or after telling me to eat all my red meat, saying, yeah, so actually that's really bad for you, or discovering that it's really bad for me, am I just supposed to sit here and be like, everything else you told to me must be true because you would never lie to me twice? You would never lie to me twice.
That boy J. Cole said,
fool me once,
shame on me.
Fool me twice,
shame on you. You fool me twice, you can't fool me again.
A fool can't get
one time, shame on you.
Literally, a fool can't get fooled again.
Fool me 3 times after peace signs.
Loaded.
And let it rain on you. We'll chill out. Be ready. You got anything else for us today?
Man, I want to talk about some Operation Fishbowl.
What's that?
I didn't see that in the Simpsons episode.
Oh, when the dome was over top.
Kinda. When he hits the baseball. And it breaks the firmament.
The firmament.
Yeah, but basically Operation Fishbowl, it was a series of high-altitude nuclear tests in 1962, and it was carried out by the United States, and it was like a large operation of this dominant nuclear test program. And there was like 11 total missiles that they launched, and basically what NASA was trying to do is they were sending missiles up to try to break
through
the dome, or what you call the firmament. And there's an image, I'm going to pull it up, but it shows the mushroom cloud going onto something. So let's say we drop a bomb down, right?
Roger.
And we drop a bomb, the mushroom cloud goes up. Like the explosion goes up. So if we flipped it and shot it up, it should come down. But it was exploding onto something. I'm not sure like what the image stands for, but think about that. It's exploding out onto something.
Like it was obstructed when it...
And we know that there was a collision there.
And so it made that mushroom cloud. But reverse.
It should have been reversed, but it was still going out onto something.
Ah.
You know, there's probably some science they're going to put in the comments or that proves it wrong, but, you know, it's just the science that we live by in this universe.
Fact.
Like, there could be another dimensional world that abides by gravity is 10 or whatever.
And I think that's the truth. When you think about math, for example, it's like we give math and the idea of a arithmetic and a system to count things its purpose. Because if not, like the idea that I use is if there's a forest full of trees, how many trees are in there? It's like if there's nobody to count those trees, then the number doesn't exist. So we give the idea that, you know, math has a purpose because we use it for something.
And they really said we don't really know the exact size of the Earth because it's a mathematic algorithm that figures it out.
Or even like about like the core. You know how you learn about the core of the magma? It's a theory.
Yeah.
It's not even proven. You don't even know. It's a theory.
Some sonar.
Yeah,
detect
bro.
in the middle. No.
Like they say, that's cap. That's cap. It's a theory. Like you don't know. And for you to teach me and you don't know, I think it's insane.
And knowing that after experiencing social media from like as a young perspective, I feel like we've been allowed to see something, especially growing up through like not a hectic time, but the roaring 20s. And
hey,
yes, sir.
Hey.
So it's like going through that, we've seen not the worst, but we've seen
It was pretty bad.
We've seen some pretty bad stuff, and the things that the media would do, and the things that they say, and the things that they allow. You're telling me that the people who are funding all these systems, because they're all related, they all overlap. If you don't think that
It's the least.
the big corporations aren't funding the other big corporations because
Big form.
they've got money here and here and multiple assets. Because
Because if one make money, they all make money. For example, like if they keep making you go back to the doctor, they're going to keep feeding you that food. And if you keep eating that food, you're going to continue to go to the doctor. And it's just a cycle that you're in.
if you don't think they're doing that in mass corporations and in school and education, then you're a fool. Search for yourself. Find the information on your own.
Facts.
But if you're thinking that they haven't been doing this the whole time, that everything that you learned in school has got to be 100% the truth because that's what your teacher told you. It's like, who's stopping them from being in the trap or in the cycle too? What if they understand and they just can't get out of it, so they've accepted it? You don't know. And even if you do, you'll never be able to walk around the entire circumference of the earth and tell me how big it is.
You might.
And if you can, get back with me.
Get back with me.
Get back with
Put
me.
it in the comments.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna encourage you. I'm gonna encourage you. You go do that, and when you figure it out, get back to us. I want to hit anything else. Any gold nuggets for the Nightcast crew, for the fam.
Shout out to the new Marvel movies coming out.
I'm working on this little series. Like I want to watch all the movies, start to finish again, all the way back from phase 1. All the way up to the new movies that are coming out now, because I don't want to be like behind when I see them again. I know you got like the new Black Widow coming out. What is it? Shang-Chi or Shang-Fu? Something like that. The 10 Legend Shang-Chi, Legend of the 10 Rings. New Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, new Doctor Strange, new Thor.
There should be some gas coming
Wakanda
out.
forever.
Shout out Chadwick Boseman, man. Wakanda forever.
We appreciate the hard work.
Yeah.
Always blessed with that. But talking about movie series real fast. Back to the Fast and Furious saga. Can anybody else tell me why they feel like Fast and 10 got to go to space?
Let me pull it up. So first of all, if y'all don't know, I saw this thing. Like I said, it's on the internet. You can't believe what you say. But watching the movies, I could believe it. So apparently Vin Diesel and The Rock have this contract, have it built into the contract that either of them can't lose an on-screen fight. So if one throws 10 punches, the other has to throw 10 punches.
One goes through the wall.
The other has to go through the wall. And I totally believe it. Because looking back on it, I've never seen one of those huge dudes lose a fight.
And even if they get beat, it's not the end of the fight.
It's not the end of a fight. Somebody comes in and saves someone.
Or somebody breaks off
it up.
away
Like
because a fan's coming.
Like Batman and Superman.
I mean, I feel like they had a couple. But still, it's like the ending scene, the ending fight, the actual war and the battle.
But no one never lost.
You can't. It's The Rock. It's Vin Diesel. Who else could beat him?
Oh, RP to Tony Stark, the GOAT.
Oh, him too.
That's crazy. I didn't know they would do it. I never thought.
Mad respect to Marvel for finally like making.
I want to say like change.
Iron Man for me is one of those essential characters of the MCU. I feel like
he was that guy.
Even though like he's arrogant, you need him.
You need a Tony Stark,
and you hate that you need him, but you know you do.
It's one of them like
that's fast.
It's one of them guilty pleasures. Like, man, I don't like the drama, but man, Tony Stark just don't care.
In a heated battle, just don't miss.
Don't miss. Like Iron Man 1, classic. You cannot go wrong. Iron Man 2, anything with more Iron Man suits is better.
Yeah, the Edith glasses.
Iron Man 3.
Sheesh.
Like, the more suits, the better. But back to that Fast series. Let me know the names real fast.
All right, so it began being the Fast and the Furious. You know, like, man, bro, my car faster than yours. No, my car faster than yours. Let's race for them.
And if I win, give me your car.
Give me the, what do they call it? The pink slip, the red slip, the blue slip. They call it something in the car where if you lose it, you get the car.
Whatever one is your deed or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So they was fast and they was mad because they was furious. They was furious. They was too fast and too furious. And that's one like they were low key cops and they was undercover. But like it still had like some racing ties to it. Then after that, you had the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. They took a vacation, went to Tokyo.
That was a classic. So you gonna plug in Tokyo Drift right there.
Yeah, that one's different. That one's different.
That's some heat right there.
So then after that, after the Tokyo Drift, then they just cut it to Fast and Furious. So they lost the. So now they back again, fast and mad. Then you got Fast 5. They just fast.
And not mad no more.
It's 5 of them, I guess.
They lost all that.
They lost the Furious. But they came back. They Fast and Furious 6. So they fast again, but then they furious this time. And then you got the Furious 7. They not fast no more. And I feel like this one after the
7th, the scale was too large.
It's too large.
It's like an anime where the character is just too OP.
What is they called? The power scale?
It's hard. It's too messed up.
It's too messed up.
Vin Diesel jumped across the highway on the hood of a car, caught a body midair off a tank, landed into a windshield, no damage.
The Rock literally pulled a helicopter. A helicopter. Do y'all understand? It's a helicopter, bro. You cannot pull that. It is literally taking you. It is like wherever it want to go, you're going.
If it's got enough force to get itself off the ground, even if that weight limit is exceeded with the Rock being held onto that rope,
it's a helicopter.
It's a helicopter. Only person I've ever seen do that was Captain America, and even he struggled. So the fact that y'all saying the Rock and the Fast and Furious universe is the strongest Captain America,
it's like for Fast 10, you can't get no softer than that.
Facts. And then you got the Fate of the Furious.
That Fate.
That Fate.
That was all.
The Fate. I like that. But they stay furious. They furious. Then you got Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. They wasn't even in the really original trilogy.
Yeah.
But it's been so long.
It's been so long. Like, they can do whatever they want now.
Branch off. You can make series off of 2 people from the cast and have a whole other 6 series break off of because of it.
What's my Asian dude from Tokyo Drift?
I don't.
He supposedly died underneath that car.
He came back.
That one hurt the soul. I remember that one.
But then they bring him back.
So apparently you can't die. No one can die.
Not in the Fast series.
When Paul Walker, man, it never been the same since.
It's never been the same.
RP to the GOAT.
RP to one of the GOAT.
He would kept him grounded.
I didn't know how much I needed him till he was gone.
I was like, oh, he cool. He was cool. I like Tyrese better than him then. He
like
was
Dr.
cool.
Seuss said, you never know the true value of a moment until it becomes a memory.
Give me a round of applause for that. Dr. Seuss.
He was a GOAT.
And
now they took away all of his books for kids to read.
Did they really?
I saw something. I still got to do research because
no one spread no false information.
I did see something like that. They said like they got rid of all of his books out of like book fairs and bookstores. They said it was like 2.
That's because he was spitting bars and they was mad.
Facts.
You could literally put that joint on any beat.
Why do you think he had eggs that were green? Because it represented that they were bad for you. He didn't want kids to look at eggs
Dropping
as being
subliminal
good.
messages that whole time. They said, "Wait a second." They was caught up in the colorful things too.
He knew the eggs wasn't good for you.
Yo.
You think about that stuff now? Even the Lorax and stuff, bro.
Green eggs and ham?
I never thought about that till just now. I was like,
They shut my man down because
I'm writing that down. I never thought about that. Like,
green eggs. First of all, it's rotting. Ham is rotting flesh. And
we know that's a carcinogen type 1.
Carcinogen type 1.
Like, I think that's crazy. Like
hey, yo, they here.
Gonna handle that.
We gotta go.
We said too much knowledge.
Peace. Thank you guys for tuning in here tonight. You know, we just handled that little business right there. We all cool. It happens all the time. But
hey, just to let y'all know, we are greatness.
We are the Nightcast.
And you guys are too.
Yes.